Good morning. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share the news of the General Council of the United Church of Canada. I bring greetings from the General Council to this wonderful congregation. You have so much that's going on here. It's just wonderful to be here where you can sense the Spirit of God is all around. We ended this reading with the phrase, help us to understand and apply it. And that couldn't be a better lead-in for the remarks I want to make about the General Council going forward here this morning. As many of you know, the slogan for the General Council was risking faith, daring hope. And we certainly did that throughout the council. Most councils are extremely moving experiences, and this is my fifth General Council, and I can tell you that this one is on a parallel with all the other ones, because the business of the church, the business of the spiritual presence of our church in this country is at hand, and you can feel the Spirit throughout the 7 days while you're engaged in the process. And coming out of it, I can say that I see a church that has a larger youth presence. There was a larger youth presence at this General Council than any of the other ones I've been at, and it was good to have them there. Sometimes they didn't listen to us elders, and that's a good thing. I was in touch with some of the elders who said they didn't want to hear about then, and they don't, and that's okay, and that's fine. And there's a place for everyone here in this church of ours. And in that respect, I'm also extremely moved to remark on the fact that our church is becoming further indigenized. The presence of indigenous elders like Lorna Standing Ready and so many of the elders in our church present at the United Church General Council was more evident than ever before. And that's a very healthy thing. That's a very wonderful thing to see. Many of the resolutions of the church dealt with the church becoming more intercultural. And I want to go to that sort of intercultural moment that for me was the most profound time of the council itself. There were 10 moderator candidates, and the new moderator has come from this conference. Richard Bott is the new moderator of the United Church. One of the other candidates was a man by the name of Dr. Colin Phillips. And Colin Phillips was a man running for the United Church moderator as a person with cerebral palsy, but a very educated person and a person with significant communication skills, even though he could not speak. He spoke through his pad and through his attendant. And he spoke very eloquently. There's an old phrase that communication skills are based on 7% of the words you use, 38% of the way you say the words, and 55% of the body language that accompanies those words. And while his attendant, Jared, spoke, Colin moved up and down the dais in his wheelchair, electronically moving it, providing the body language. It was profound. On Friday afternoon, as we were dealing with the business of the council, and we had a new business process in which we listened first, and then we discussed, and then we decided in the listening session you couldn't talk about what the content of the resolution was. You could only listen. You could only ask for clarification. And in the discussion session, you could raise your issues of debate and discuss, and we broke out into 15 groups, the 360 commissioners that were there, and talked about those kinds of things throughout the week, and then we reported back, and the reporters and the facilitators of each session read back what we said, and we had to say, were you listened to? And we had to say, yes, we were, and 90% of us voted that we were listened to. The listening session was considered to be complete. We did the same thing with the discussion session because, let's face it, folks of the United Church, we like to talk about things. We like to talk about them a lot. And we broke out into those 15 groups, and after the discussion session was over, those facilitators came back to us and they said, were you heard? Did your part of the discussion get recorded? Was it there? Was it evident? And we voted on whether that was evident or not. And then they brought that back all to the plenary. And they said, were you listened to? Were you discussed? And we voted on that, and we had to get 90%. And we voted, and we moved that. And we were moving through the process wonderfully well in this new whole process because it was working. It was helping us. It was helping us talk about how good we're going to be. And then somebody got up and said, just a second. How good are you now? I'm a black person. Let me tell you about my experiences in ministry. I'm Indigenous. Let me tell you who didn't hire me. I'm South Asian. Let me tell you what happened to me. And a point of order was made, and the process was stopped. And we went on for 2 hours Friday afternoon. And we listened. And we were blessed by the rulings of our moderator, Jordan Cantwell, who let that process go on. And the crowning moment, it seemed, was when Colin got up and dutifully took us through his thoughts, letter by letter, word by word, because Colin and Jared had worked together for many years. And we got a chance to see what it would be like if Colin was moderator, right there in front of the whole plenary. Because while Colin was ready for the church wasn't ready for Colin. And we had to sit and think about that for a while. And as Colin left the room in a very dramatic moment, we knew why we were United Church. We knew that we were United Church because we have the ability to look at things and move forward and to deal with the pain. We've been there before. We've risked faith before. We've dared hope before. And we've come through the process with the Spirit of God leading us in this way. And Colin's moment became a magic moment because now we're looking at where we have got to go to walk with God. So it was once again a wonderful General Council, full of feeling, full of emotion. We're blessed by the intervention of those that were there. We're blessed by the new three-council model and the new business model. We're blessed by the youth. We're blessed by the interfaith and interculturalism. And we're blessed by the challenge to those of us who are white of our white privilege. We're blessed by having our unearned assets shown to us because they exist only for us. They don't exist for people of color. They don't exist for people on the margins like Colin. And that's good. That's healthy. It's difficult. It's painful, but it's healthy. And through it, we are spiritually energized with the Spirit of God. Blessings on your wonderful church. Blessings on the work you do. Thanks for this invitation.
Jim, can I call you back? But you have to use the mic. No, you have to use the mic, otherwise. That's how we hear.
I got very carried away. We did have some fun. And one of the things we did was at a lunch time, we all got teddy bears. We were asked to bring teddy bears, and people brought teddy bears to the General Council. And because we wanted to break the record for the number of people holding teddy bears at one time. And we had to hold them for 2 minutes. So we broke the Guinness World Book of Records for teddy bear holding with, I think it was 262. And at the end of that, I got this wonderful little banner, which has nothing to do with teddy bears, but everything to do with the General Council, because it has a logo of the Festival of Faith, and it has Risking Faith, Daring Hope in French and English, and also in 5 Indigenous languages. And I brought it for you, and I'm going to give it to Cheryl now.
So, Jim, just one sec. I want to check something. Okay, this is a logistical thing. Did our camera catch Jim? Okay, so you were on camera, so that's good. So we have seen this. Thank you. I just had to check that. Otherwise, you had to come back and do the whole thing again from the center.